curious to know, like, do you make a habit of writing every day? This is something that our members are really curious to know about.
I should lie? Yes, absolutely. You have to write every day. If you're not writing, you should be thinking about your story. The last thing you think about before you fall asleep is your story. Oh, you were recording?
No.
Here's a universal truth about writers. When you get writer's block, you think, I don't have what it takes. This other writer, they just barrel through page 1 to 300. They're just writing away. And if you're a true writer, it just happens that way from start to finish. They never have to throw away pages. They never have to be blocked and not know where they're going. That's not true. I don't know of anybody it has never happened to. You know, if you want to go to hear interesting conversations, go to a party with a bunch of writers and ask them about writer's block. Everybody has it. Let me assure you, I've had writer's block hundreds, thousands of times, so you're not alone. I've heard people refer to writer's block as the blank page, and they don't know what to put on that page. Everything is just nothing. But I don't think that's what writer's block is. I think writer's block is too many things in your head. It's as though the room is filled with floating flotsam and jetsam of all the possibilities of what you could put in the story. And all the things that you've written that you think are terrible. And it's all there, and you have to deal with it, and you're trying to write the next page. The next page is a jumble. And so what you need to do is get rid of the jumble. The other reason you get writer's block, and I've verified this scientifically, is that you have written yourself into a corner, and the corner has no way to get out this way or that way, meaning you have limited yourself because probably you came up with an idea that you wrote to and didn't allow yourself the freedom to move forward. So it's a problem with the narrative where you got stuck. Writer's block can also be that you got to a point in your story and suddenly you don't like the character. Or the character now doesn't allow you to move ahead. What do you do with that? Before you think, I'm not a writer. I'm obviously not good enough to be a writer because I can't think what to put down on the page. You are a writer. Writer's block is actually proof that you are a writer because you care enough. You've invented enough complexity, probably. You have too much and you don't know where to go with it. Writer's block can settle in from when you first sit down to write again. Each day, it seems like it's new. Writer's block is also distraction. Not just the things in the room in your mind, but actual things going on in your life. Your kids, your dog got sick, you have to make dinner, you are thinking about taxes, needing to be, all those real matters of life. And it's all out there and you are worried about something or other. Because you're a writer and you care, you have a social conscience and you care deeply about what is happening in the world. I don't know of any writer who doesn't. You can find that the mood of the world around you, maybe it's your own world, personal world, and there's some kind of strife going on, illness. And the mood of your piece are not synced. You're writing satire. And there's nothing funny about what's happening in the world. That's natural. And that's why I think it's important to do what you can to block out what that world is during the period that you're writing something. If it really depends on you to write the new portion of your book, and I'm not talking about revision of beautiful sentences, writing that new portion of the story, do what you can to get rid of the distraction. Don't read the news. When you settle down to write, you're going to enter a different world. You're not going to keep that other world there as real as it can. Get your friend to take care of your kids, or wait until they go to sleep, or, put the taxes aside. You're going to enter into another world. Stay focused until you can get past that point where, again, you feel you have the skills and the confidence to move forward. I have one suggestion that will help you over that hurdle of settling back into your desk each day. And that is to create a number of psychological rituals. I had the extreme honor of being interviewed by Toni Morrison for a show. And she asked me this question: do you have any rituals when you start your writing day? And here I thought she was going to have me compare 17th century writers with contemporary. No, she wanted to know about rituals. She had a ritual. First thing in the morning, she lit a candle. There was something sacred about lighting that candle. This is now how she entered her fictional world. And it turned out, I was a little bit embarrassed to say, that I actually lit some incense. The other thing I did, which was to eliminate all these distractions that you're hearing going on. Go to your same space, sit down, put some earphones on. Choose a piece of music that matches the mood of the scene you are writing. Let's say it's a very tense scene. There's some darkness with it. You don't know where it's going, but the character is feeling very nervous. Sadness looms. Pick a piece of music that matches that scene. And the next day, when you can write again, you put that on. You're in the same place all of a sudden, because that music is the clue that you're back there. Do your ritual. Here I am. I'm in the fictional world. I can feel it now. I feel the mood. I can start writing again. There are other things you can do for outside inspiration. What is it that made you want to write in the first place? Maybe it was a book that you read, a really amazing book that made you want to tell your story. Read that book again until you get to that point where you say, I need to write my story. Another is to read profiles of other writers or the interviews that they gave. And they talk about writing and what was so important to them when they were writing a particular story. And suddenly you say, yes, that's what's important to me. And you can take that kind of inspiration. If you're still stuck, don't kick yourself. This happens to everybody. Just keep at it. Find a way to pat yourself on the back when you do move forward one sentence. Write a sentence and say, hey, I did that day by day. You'll find a place where suddenly you're unstuck. You've shaken off that glue and you can move forward again. Now, I'm going to give you an exercise for just getting you to understand how you need to push through into a narrative. This is not necessarily the way you should always write, but it will impose a kind of artificial urgency based on speed and a deadline. The situation is a woman is waiting for relatives to come. She hasn't ever met them, but she dislikes them for something they did to her family many, many years ago. They arrive, and then through a natural disaster, they are stuck together. I want you to write who those people are and what happens in the next scene very quickly. Tell me what you discovered in writing that. Write down the questions you had in creating that scene. It's a situation. It can go many different ways. I want you to choose what point of view you take. First person, third person singular, third person omniscient. If you choose first person, you could be the relative who's arriving, or you could be the woman who is waiting. Play with it. Have fun with it.